well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Hey, good morning, everyone. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for a Pocket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X. I hope you guys all had a fantastic weekend, made some money yesterday. We were so close to getting Kaprizov for that hat trick yesterday. 2 goals out of Kaprizov for the Minnesota Wild, unable to beat the Vegas Golden Knights as Vegas did win that one 3-2, but it sure looked like we were on that way to that plus 2,900 money on that hat trick. If you laddered it up and got the 2, congratulations, because we were still getting great plus money on that. But yeah, we've got 3 games out there on the ice to go over today. We got the Washington Capitals taking on the Dallas Stars. We have the Florida Panthers taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, a rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals, first time meeting up since then. And then the Colorado Avalanche taking on the Vancouver Canucks. So some interesting storylines with the rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals. We have also got a Caps team that's rolling hot. We got Mackenzie Blackwood expected to get the start again for Colorado, who was just on fire versus the Predators, and Vancouver with Demko, how he's going to come out versus the team that he normally struggles against. So let's jump right into these games. We'll look at the Washington Capitals versus Dallas Stars first. Now, this one has the Dallas Stars as a favorite. It makes sense, right? The Dallas Stars so phenomenally strong at home. They're minus 162 favorite against a Washington Capitals team that has won their last 10 road teams. This team has been firing on all cylinders. When they can score 3 or more goals, this team can get the win. So can they get 3 goals on Jake Ottinger is your question in this one. We got a total of 5.5, minus 138 to the over, which I'm shocked by, plus 112 to the under. Now we're seeing a little bit of movement on that. If it goes to overtime, which I think this one does, I think it's a 2-2 overtime game. I really do think we stay under that 5.5. I'll take a shot on that at plus 112. I got a couple goal scorers, but I look at these 2 and how they're going to battle this one out. We got Charlie Lindgren expected here for the Washington Capitals and Jake Ottinger for the Dallas Stars. Both teams are so phenomenally strong on the defensive side of the puck. The power play isn't Washington's like main way for scoring. They're good at the 5-on-5 scoring, but both defenses can lock down. I think the Dallas Stars will try to lock down as well. They don't want to get into some pawn hockey here with the Washington Capitals. Now, this is the first night of a back-to-back for the Caps. They're not looking ahead. They have the Chicago Blackhawks on deck tomorrow. So Dallas sitting third in the Central. That home record, so sound, 12-3. At home this season. Overall on the season, though, not great numbers. The road struggles have been real. They got 18-11-0 overall on the season. Now, when we look at the Washington Capitals rolling in here first in the Metro, this team is freaking hot right now. 21-6-2 on the season. They won 8 of their last 10. I cannot step in front of them here, especially when we saw this matchup back in October. We did see the Washington Capitals get that 3-2 win, and I think we have the exact same outcome in this game. While they've won their last 10 on the road, they've also covered their last 9 on the puck line as an underdog. So when this team is a dog, they're still keeping these games phenomenally tight. So I do think there's value there. If the Dallas Stars go up in this game, I will be coming back in on the Washington Capitals plus 1.5 on the puck line with a sprinkle on the money line as well. I'm going to invest on the money line pregame, but we've seen the Dallas Stars be able to go up in the first period in the last 4 versus a Metro opponent. Yes, those Metro opponents have been weaker than the Washington Capitals, but I do think it's a lower scoring game. So I will want to come back in on the Washington Capitals. Now, if you believe in the Dallas Stars and the Caps go up first, you can come back in, of course, on the Dallas Stars. The overreaction in hockey is phenomenal for those live bettings and even trying to hedge your bet and what you're liking out there, especially when that first goal comes in fast for the opposite team, or for the team that you expected, and then just going, okay, let's pause for a hot minute here. When we look at Washington, when they're able to score 3 or more goals, they have a record of 21-1 on the season. So if you want to look at their team total over 3.5 goals, it's it's really hard to get there for me because I think they end on 3, but the value is there's so much plus money on the over 3.5. Dylan Strome has been strong here for the Capitals versus the Stars. He has 1 or more goals in the last 3 versus the Stars. So I will be playing on Dylan Strome tonight to get us a go up plus 300. You guys know when I'm looking at unders, I don't really love taking a lot of goal scorers and player props because the chances of them scoring when we're expecting lower ones is there. But I still think Dylan Strome, with that record that he has, and when I look at the Dallas Stars, Wyatt Johnson, he hasn't had as many points on the season as we would have expected. He was so hot last season, but I think he's going to put some troubles into the Capitals game today. So I'm looking at Wyatt Johnston. I do have 2 players, 1 on each side for the anytime goal with an under 5.5. So it is a little nerve wracking. The under is 7-3 in the last 10 meetings between these 2 teams. So look for that goaltending, look for that duel between them. I know Monahan killed us yesterday. So anyone who took those player points, I wasn't going to bring it up because I wanted to cry. Monahan not able to get that point. If you parlayed it, the plus money, Mo, was absolutely incredible yesterday for those player points. And Monty, I totally believed in for the Columbus Blue Jackets to get a point on the board. It killed us. It was such a sore spot for me yesterday, but hopefully some of you guys round robin those player points and were able to make some money out there. But man, it would have been a good day if we were able to hit all 8 of those player props. I do think this one goes to overtime. I think this is such a tight battle. The overtime bet between these 2 teams, let me just pull it up here for you guys. I believe it was plus 320 when I looked at it earlier. The overtime bet, yeah, it's still plus 320. So you're getting plus 320 for this one to go to OT. The Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers rematch of the Stanley Cup final. Now, the last time these teams played in Edmonton, I was there, game 6 between these 2, and we know Edmonton was able to pull it off. They then went back to Florida, and Florida finished off the Stanley Cup finals, winning at 2-1, low-scoring game. Connor McDavid was so upset with himself in his gameplay in the Stanley Cup finals, and I'm looking for him to come out on absolute fire in this game today. And we know since he's got back on the ice from the illness, he has been really playing strong. Now, total 6.5. The juice keeps finding a way to go up here on the under, and that's the only way I can go in this one. We got playmakers on both sides, and I know I don't trust Stuart Skinner, but I think between these 2, we are going to see both of these defenses come out freaking hard and try to slow each other down. You know, Barkov missed the last game with illness versus Calgary, and we saw the Florida Panthers lose the last 2. You know it's because this game was circled. They got shut out versus Vancouver Canucks, and they got shut out versus the Calgary Flames. When they faced Calgary and I started seeing their play out there, I went, okay, wait a minute. I know I said they had Edmonton on deck, but it didn't click in my brain. They had Edmonton on deck. This was a clear look ahead for the Florida Panthers coming in here. Now, the Edmonton Oilers have been so hot, winning their last 5 games out there on the ice. They're able to get some big wins too. Like their win over the Minnesota Wild was crazy. They're able to beat Vegas. This team is playing great hockey right now. The Florida Panthers are in this team's head. They're in Connor McDavid's head. Florida started the series in the Stanley Cup so hot, let Edmonton get back into it, won it in game 7. Edmonton has been waiting for this rematch. Edmonton's minus 130, the Florida Panthers plus 108, total of 6.5. Again, the juice to the under. Give me the under 6.5. Give me Connor McDavid to come out just firing in this one. I think he hits Bobrovsky. Connor McDavid for the anytime goals coming in at plus 140. Now, if you want to look at which player in the finals really was impactful out there, you know Leon Draisaitl and Zach Hyman, but Connor Brown, he's been scoring as of late, and I do think he can score in this one. So I'm looking at Connor Brown as well, but I think it's Connor McDavid that you really have to circle. When we look here at the Florida Panthers, you know Matthew Tkachuk wants to get on the board. Barkov, I think he's playing. He had just the one versus Calgary with that illness. So I think we're going to see him back out there on the ice. I really don't want to circle his player props because I don't know where or how bad that illness was for him. So Sam Reinhart, though, would be who I circle. So Sam Reinhart, Sam Bennett, or Matthew Tkachuk for the Florida Panthers, even though this is a lower scoring game. I think those three core players really get up. And then Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and Zach Hyman would be your playmakers for the Edmonton Oilers. Again, I like the under 6.5. And I do think Florida is in their head. I think the Florida Panthers win this. You look, you've got Bobrovsky versus Skinner. I don't trust Skinner. Second in the Atlantic here for the Florida Panthers. Lost their last two, shutout in both. But again, I think they got the circle. They are 9-5-1 on the road this season. And when we look here at Edmonton, yeah, they got that win over the Boston Bruins. They got the Boston Bruins on deck on Thursday. They got the win over Vegas. A huge win, 6-3. Florida will not allow them to put up that many goals with Bobrovsky in goal. They're 8-2 on their last 10, though, you guys. Edmonton is firing on all cylinders. I'm talking all cylinders, offensively, defensively. Holding Vegas to only 3 goals with Mark Stone back in the lineup is so impressive. So they're 9-6-1 at home this season. It's a hard one to step in front of them. I love the plus money, you guys. You know where I'm going with that. Edmonton did win the last matchup in Game 6 in Edmonton versus this team. So, and they made them look bad out there. Florida just didn't play a good game in that one, but I'm going to go with Florida to get the win here in Edmonton. Let's look at the Colorado Avalanche. They are taking on the Vancouver Canucks. Last game of the night. Now, total 5.5. Very interesting for this total to be sitting at 5.5, especially when we look at Demko expected here for the Vancouver Canucks. Demko has had his struggles versus the Colorado Avalanche in his career. And I think those struggles continue tonight because he hasn't been hot out of the gate since returning into this lineup from his knee injury. The under 5.5, if you want to take it, it's plus 110. The books might be thinking it's because Vancouver doesn't get the back of the net tonight, doesn't like the lap because of Mackenzie Blackwood. We saw Mackenzie Blackwood make his debut for the Colorado Avalanche. Of course, he came over from the Sharks versus the Predators, and he stopped up 37 of 39 shots on his goal. He was on absolute fire. And I do think he stays on fire tonight, but we got some playmakers that normally hit him, and we look at Mackenzie Blackwood with his numbers versus Vancouver. They're not great, but those numbers aren't great because you look at the defense in front of him when he was with the Sharks, and those numbers really swayed his numbers from when he was with the New Jersey Devils to when he was with the San Jose Sharks versus the Vancouver Canucks. If Vancouver can put up 1 or 2 goals, it will push us over that total. I think the Avs team total is live over 3.5 goals at plus 130 just because I don't trust Demko and I don't trust his numbers versus the Avs in his career. Since returning, he's 0-1-1, and versus the Avs, he's got a 1-4-1 record in 6 games versus the Avs with a 4.12 goals against average and an .856 save percentage. So I can't trust him, especially if Vancouver plays some dirty plays and gets in the penalty box. Both of these teams have strong power plays. The stronger kill is here for Vancouver. But that being said, Colorado's power play at 24% is so elite out there. Vancouver's not far behind at 23.8. The kill here of the Avs is 74.7. So we've got not a great kill here for either team, realistically. It's not hitting in the 80s. I do think that total is live at the over 5.5, but I really like the Avs with that plus money because I think they are the team that gets the win in this one. You got Nathan McKinnon so fiery out there on the ice. I'm expecting him to find the back of the net. His anytime goal coming in at plus 140. When we look at JT Miller has had success versus the Avs. He's had a goal in each of the last 3 meetings between these two. So JT Miller of the Vancouver Canucks at plus 300. Glad to have him back on the ice. And you look at Vancouver as a home dog. This is a team I really don't trust at home. They've got a record of 5-7-4 at home on the season. As a home underdog this season, they've gone 1-4-1. Not a team I want to back here. When we look here at Mackenzie Blackwood versus the Vancouver Canucks, that record is 5-3 in 9 games. Not great numbers, a 2.46 goals against average, so, and a 911 save percentage. So like I said, a lot of that time was because of the Sharks and the defense in front of him. You have to look at how hot he was in that last game. If he can come out as hot versus Vancouver that he did versus the Preds, who scored late in that game, we could see a shutout here for Blackwood. I would not be shocked if he was able to get it. I don't think he gets it. I think Vancouver gets at least one goal on him, and JT Miller would be the playmaker I'd look at. But I think this is another opportunity for him to prove he is that top goaltender, and they traded for him for a reason, because we know goaltending was the issue here for the Colorado Avalanche. They are 10-6 on the road this season, sitting fourth in the Central, and of course, Vancouver sitting over here in the Pacific. They've won their last 10 games as a road favorite as well. So rolling in here at the price of -154 is unbettable. Can they cover that puck line? I think they can. I'm taking a shot on the Colorado Avalanche on the puck line, laying 1.5 on the puck line at +168, you guys. Reinhardt and McGee's anytime goal, same game parlay. Oh, I like that. What value are you getting? I love when you look at playmakers from opposite teams for those anytime goals, for those same game parlays. You know, Connor McDavid will be coming out. He was so upset with himself with how he played in the playoffs. So I would look at that, and Sam Reinhart is being absolute fire out there. We'll build the same game parlay for sure. 2-3 leg parlay. Let's get this money today, you guys. Happy Monday to each and every one of you. Small slate out there. Those are the 3 games. So let's go back. Let's do the recap. Make sure you check out the SportsGrid app today for my Madden Quickie. That will be up shortly, talking tonight's doubleheader and what I'm liking in those games. All honesty, yesterday's morning NFL slate absolutely killed me, you guys. I think I went 0-9 on the morning NFL slate. We did bounce back in the afternoon, and then we were able to get the Packers at night. Josh Jacobs killed me, though, not getting 100 rushing yards. We had him for over the 80 as well, but he hit, 93 or 96? I can't remember. I looked at that number, and I just I dropped my phone and walked away and put on a movie after the game was over. So I forgot to go and see the exact number. All I know is it didn't hit 100, so my bet did not hit. But let's jump into the recap here. The Washington Capitals taking on the Dallas Stars. I love the value you're getting here on the Washington Capitals. I think they have every ability to get the win. This team has been so strong out there on the road, sitting first in the Metro. Ovechkin's still out of this lineup, but I tell you, the time is ticking. He's going to be out here in the next probably month. So the Dallas Stars, I do think, have the opportunity to push this to overtime. I love the overtime bet. That was coming in at +320. The playmakers I would look at in this one, Dylan Strome has been hot versus the Stars. Anytime goal for him at +300. Wyatt Johnston of the Stars, I do think, can get on the board as well. His anytime goal at +210. Although I do think this one stays under the total of 5.5, 7-3 to the under in the last 10. The Florida Panthers versus the Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cup rematch here. I think Florida is in Connor McDavid and Edmonton's head. I'm going to take the Florida Panthers with that plus money. Yes, they got shut out in their last 2 games, but they had Edmonton on deck. They had this matchup circled and look for this team to come out hungry and hit Stuart Skinner hard. That being said, I still think it stays under the total of 6.5. I would look for Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Reinhart and Sam Bennett to be your playmakers in this. Barkov was ill in that last game. I'm not counting on him to get much done in this game because of that. Connor McDavid, though, has a chip on his freaking shoulder. He's going to come out here with so much passion. He's got the anytime goal at +140. Connor Brown has been playing strong for Edmonton as of late, being able to score, but I don't know if he hits the scoreboard. Leon Draisaitl and Zach Hyman is where I would look before I looked at that recency of Connor Brown. And then the Colorado Avalanche and the Vancouver Canucks, you guys. The Avs, I think, will hit Demko. I don't like Demko's numbers coming back from injury, and I don't like Demko's numbers versus the Colorado Avalanche. Now, I lean for this full game to go to the over because I expect JT Miller to be able to hit Mackenzie Blackwood in this game. He scored in each of the Avs and Canucks last 3 games, so he's coming in here for the Vancouver Canucks at +300 for a goal. That being said, I think Nathan McKinnon and the power play here will click for Colorado. I don't like Vancouver's record at home this season. I don't like Demko in goal as of late and versus the Avs. So it is the Avs for me. I like their team total over 3.5 goals. I know it's a lot of goals. It's coming in at +130, though. Nathan McKinnon for the anytime goal as well. And I think this one goes over the total of 6.5 if Vancouver can put a couple on the board tonight. So let's build a same game parlay, or not a same game parlay. Let's just build a parlay here of what I'm liking for those player props. You guys will look at the points. If you're liking, you can look at the assists as well. So when we look at the matchup between the Washington Capitals and the Dallas Stars, I told you Dylan Strome is really where I'm looking for that anytime goal. You can look at him for the point if you're parlaying, the point coming in at minus 154. And I think Wyatt Johnson as well, but I'm going to stay off that. I'm just going to look at Dylan Strome. He is my better bet between the two. When we look at the Florida Panthers versus the Edmonton Oilers, let's look at the points there. I really do think it has to be Connor McDavid for a point. The problem is Connor McDavid for the point is minus 430. You can't, I don't even want to put that inside the parlay. Connor McDavid for 2+ points, though, I do think is reasonable. And even though I think this one stays under a 6.5, I think he gets a goal and I think he gets the assist in this one. So putting him for 2+ points coming in at plus 114, I do think is a solid way to go in this matchup, even though I'm expecting the Florida Panthers to win. If you don't want to use Connor McDavid here because the Florida Panthers know how to rattle him and get it in his head, I would look at Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk, those odds are minus 215. So I would look at him there for the point. Now, when we look at the Colorado Avalanche, you guys, I'm looking at Nathan MacKinnon again, minus 430 for Nathan MacKinnon for the point tonight. You could just look at JT Miller. JT Miller for the point is minus 146. He's proven that he can light the lamp versus the Avs, but again, it's not versus Mackenzie Blackwood. So that minus 146, while I like it, inside that same game parlay. And if we put those 4 legs, so let me give you the 4 legs and what that gives you, but I'm going to move JT Miller out. I'm going to move Connor McDavid out. So this would be my first look at the point parlay. I would take Connor McDavid for 2+ points, Matthew Tkachuk for 1 point, Dylan Strome for a point, and JT Miller for a point. That's coming in at plus 718. I'm going to take JT Miller out. I'm going to take Connor McDavid out. You've got 2 legs there with Dylan Strome and Matthew Tkachuk for the point coming in at plus 41. I'm going to look again at Colorado here. Now, Mikko Rantanen has been strong, but again, you're laying way too much juice for Rantanen in this one, which I don't like. I'm just trying to find someone else that I really do think has the ability to get the point. And if you guys have watched the show from the beginning of the season, you know who the playmaker is that I love on that power play, who's able to get those goals, get those assists, and we're able to get him up for a point tonight. For Colorado, that is Ross Colton. Ross Colton has been a machine for us. We can take Ross Colton for a point outside of this point parlay at plus 122 because there's value. I think Ross Colton can get a straight up point tonight. Outside of the parlay, I'd look at the power play point as well. So I'm going to now put Dylan Strome, Matthew Tkachuk, and Ross Colton in a parlay. I'm then going to have one more look here. So we have a player for Vancouver. No, we don't have anyone for Vancouver. We have Ross Colton for Colorado, Matthew Tkachuk for Florida, and Dylan Strome for Washington. Let's just stay with that, you guys. 3-leg parlay, all 3 of these players from the team that I think is going to get the win in a 3-leg parlay coming in at plus 436. So again, Dylan Strome from the Washington Capitals, Matthew Tkachuk from the Florida Panthers, and then Ross Colton from the Colorado Avalanche, each for a point tonight, coming in at plus 436. So that is where I would go, you guys. You're going to go with the anytime goals. I like where you're going with Hintz, Reinhart, and Connor McDavid for Sir Bowers, London, parlayed. I like where you're going, Larry. I wish you all the best in all of your bets. It's going to be a great night between the action in the NFL as well as the action on the ice. Brock Bowers has to get in that end zone for the Raiders tonight. That's their only hope, their only chance in the world. But you guys, again, I appreciate each and every one of you. If you can hit that like, hit that retweet button, I would so appreciate it. I am going to go fill up my French press. It is a cold day here in YYC. I definitely need some more coffee. So we will see you back here tomorrow at noon Eastern. So make sure you join me here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great day. Let's make some freaking money out there.